Hello and welcome into Sorare with Laird. I'm Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdino on Sorare. Talking today about a new scarcity coming to Sorare. Maybe one day, who knows? Maybe. We'll see. I don't want to start like speculating that it's coming or um and I certainly have no indications that there are. But it was just something that I was thinking about today as I was being a little bitter about my Challenger limited streak chasing adventures and um I just started thinking about whether we'll need a new scarcity at some point. Obviously, we hope we do, because that means there are a ton of people on the platform, and all of those like, oh, we should have never had limited, and this is a luxury product. Maxis can just stop listening. I think. Um, sorry, I had a pretzel just before, and now it feels like there's some in my teeth, and it's weird to be on a live stream and feel like you have food in your teeth, even though I can kind of look and it seems fine. But anyway, hello everyone. Thanks for coming in, Yorkie, Anyan, and Philly Dilly on the podium. Congratulations to you three. Anyan said next year in terms of the when we'll need a new scarcity. Between limited and rare for streaks, and rare is the low premium version with only leaderboards, followed by super rare, unique with only leaderboards. And Merry Christmas. Philly Dilly said, not sure if a new level would go between limited and rare or rare and super rare. That's interesting. I don't think we've thought about that at all. Feel like a level below limited is unnecessary. Fun fact, there is a level below limited right now. Yorkie Will said, a new scarcity above unique. One player per league. You buy it, you win everything. I think there... never... I feel like there was an idea for that, to have like one... like a super unique scarcity where it's like you get one forever, meaning that player. Like there's one of this Yamal unique, super unique. I don't know. Mike Bassam, what's up? When Sorare rare again? New game launched, 2 unlimited. If you know, you know. And I don't know. Jack Daniels, what's up? Sorare Soul. When Sorare Christmas? I think it's tomorrow, right? For Christmas Eve, excuse me. Pico Player said, unique is already almost killed. Not sure what a new one will do. Sorare Burrow, what's up? Scosmo says, never. Sean Kennedy, good to see you. Laird doing Lumberjack Week. I felt kind of like called out by Andy Black, but this is still not like your traditional red plaid. But it is red and it is plaid. Anyway, Rikamon, what's up? ZZGP01 from Twitter. We really don't need another scarcity. Limited classic is already kind of dead. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about classic in this endeavor, to be honest, and I'll explain why. And basically why I'm talking about this. This is what we have to think about. Andrew, I'm concerned your topic is not resonating with the people. Well, it seems to be resonating. They just don't agree. Well, it got very dark when I took that sip. So this is the kind of background of why I started this thought. So actually, I'll pull it up here. So this idea that I had, that I've kind of floated around on a couple streams. I can't remember the last time I did it. I think it doesn't matter. But I was talking about this idea that the streaks would obviously be a lot friendlier to us if you didn't necessarily have to hit all 5 streaks consecutively in order. If you could just hit 5 of the thresholds in consecutive weeks, but not necessarily do them from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meaning, I was talking to good friend Sam Tai today, and Sam had like a monster score in Challenger this game week, higher than anything I scored, and it was for the first streak. And he was like, it's frustrating that you can have like this monster score. And now there are monster scores all over Challenger. So it's not like he had a huge score and won it. But I was looking at my own lineups. And so for the lineup that I actually had 2 lineups that hit the 4th streak this game week. And I was like, it's basically wasted. So let me see here. So these are the 4 Challenger lineups that I had. I needed 420. I scored 422 with this one. Diogo Costa 98, Kiwi R 78, Arsness 55, Sebastiano Esposito 52, and Thomas Araujo 53. Captain the highest scoring outfield player. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I would have ever captained Diogo Costa, but I needed 420. I scored 422 with this one, but it was the Benfica stack that I had here: Trubin, Otamendi, Baranachea, Pavlidis, and Dahl. 471. So I'm going to compete for the 5th streak next week, and I was 9 points short with the Fenner stack. But basically, it was like, man, if I had this 471 next week, and I hope I do, then I hit the 5th streak. And so the immediate response was, you can't do that, because if the streaks get too easy, then Sorare is paying out too much money. And kind of my initial response to that is, if we knew this was the case at the beginning of the season, meaning that streaks were going to be easier, presumably the cost of the cards go up, right? Like, we should be paying more if there's more to win. And I don't think that it's a risk that Sorare is likely to put themselves in, meaning if they increase rewards by essentially making streaks easier, and I think they would be easier if you didn't have to do them in order, then they have to basically trust that we look at prices from this season and say, these were too cheap based on what we can win, because we knew what we could win this year, and now that we can win more. But if we all just kind of like, yeah, I'm just not going to pay more, then obviously they end up distributing too much in rewards and it doesn't work. And so one of the things, part of that conversation, part of that thought is, in any business, you have to think of ways to make more money. Like, businesses are set up to make money. And as much as you want to pretend that there's any sort of, I don't even want to call it altruistic kind of feelings for companies, but the point is to make money. And the only way that Sorare makes more money now that we are getting to this possibility that we're going to hit max mint counts, is either we pay more for cards, or they make new cards and we buy those too, and new people buy those. And so in this idea of, if they increased rewards, we would pay more for our cards. Obviously, from a profit perspective, they're not making any more, or they end up making more profit because more people start to chase streaks and realize there's, even if you don't have to do them out of order, or even if you could do them out of order, it's still very difficult. And so it's that thought that I had in my mind of, like, if the only realistic plan from what we've seen Sorare do historically, meaning they really haven't opened up any other profit funnels. They make money by selling cards. And while they may make a little bit of money on the secondary market, we know that it's a inconsequential amount compared to what they make on auctions. Now, I would suppose that one of the big ways that they can make more money is just reduce market credits. Like, they have funded a lot of the cards that we buy. And so theoretically that helps. But ultimately they're constrained by 1,111 cards every season per player. And it's not like we're going to start going out and buying worthless players all the time. Although maybe we are, maybe quick play with the winter cards has shown us that we will do this. But ultimately it gets back to the point of, if they want to sell more as opposed to charge more for what they sell, we need a new scarcity. Full stop. Sorry, I went on one there. So let's see what you guys were saying. If they do a lower scarcity, do you think they should do 5,000 or 10,000? I don't know. Both are fine, I think. It's weird lighting here. This coffee's not nearly as hot as I thought it was. Scosmo said, we don't need a new scarcity, just create a real in-depth common gameplay experience centered around microtransactions. I'm already thinking back when the 50th and 500th winning the same argument. Now we're on 600 plus and 360 winning the same in streaks. I think that's a little different, Mike. Have a look at the La Liga Super Rare scores this week. What was the reason streaks were never extended to Super Rare? They tried that golden goal thing for MLS, then just didn't do anything for Europe. Why? I actually did look at the Super Rare La Liga Super Rare scores last or for this game week on Sorare Spotlight, which was yesterday. But we can look again because I don't really. I remember Barcelona were all over the place. So let's see. Like La Liga. This is a bad argument for they should be in streaks because La Liga was just bananas this game week. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here, but here's the top two teams. And it was actually the second place team was way better. Yeah, we would think. I don't know why streaks are not on Super Rare, to be honest. Palmo, what's up? Hello. Should never do a lower scarcity with how much people say it's impossible to win in limited. Why? I don't think people say it's impossible to win. I think we know it's difficult to win. And Yorkie Will, I know you're a leaderboard stan, but if more and more people are focusing on the streaks, then a lower scarcity makes total sense. People do streaks in common. I'm also very curious, like what the one of 10,000, like 5,000 just doesn't seem like a nice round number. And when they did it for MLB, it just felt awful. Or was it NBA? 5,000 was just a weird number. So if it was one in 10,000, I still think like the one of 10,000 Mbappe goes for a lot. The 5 of 10,000 probably goes for $20. Like, is it bad to have a game where $20 for an Mbappe is bad? I mean, he's only 20 cents per share on football.fun. But yeah, I just don't think that they're, and again, I don't think that they're doing this anytime soon, but surely it has to be something that they talk about because, you know, when you're a big enough company, when you have investors, there are probably daily conversations of how do we make more money? And I think a lot of them right now are how do we get people to buy more of the cards that we're selling? But again, we're seeing some guys who are running out of cards. And if you're running a business where by December 23rd, you can't really sell any more cards. Now, I know that there are way more cards. I'm actually looking up Zolas now. So everybody was making a big deal of the 1,000 of 1,000, but 972. I don't even know what they can sell of these. Didn't Tolga say soon in the latest stream? Soon in terms of new scarcity? I don't remember that. And Zolas is obviously like a high one, like 97% of his limiteds, 94% of his rares, 90% of his super rares, and 100% of his uniques are sold already. What about like Hans? And I feel like part of the thing that they were saying was like, oh, we have plenty of cards. Don't worry. It's just the really popular players. And it's like, well, yeah, we're not going to start buying the bad, unpopular players when these guys run out. So 908 limited. Behab, what's up? Just joined, but answer is something that can only be considered after they nail commons. I think they, like, I don't play common. I've been tempted to play it, but it sounds like they may have nailed it. There are a lot of people I know that play common that I just didn't, I wouldn't have expected them to. And actually, speaking of that, shout out to Mike Baston for the common Hallen that he just got that I could use for the thumbnail to this video. Scosmo said, are they not just further diluting the bottom of the market? It won't just be all new money coming in. 20 pound uncommon Mbappe's will probably be cutting money off the above scarcity's average. So I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. But I do think that people are more willing to spend $20 on an Mbappe than $15 on cards for players they don't know. And maybe that seems like the more positive thing to do. Maybe. A card scarcity with 10,000 would make the barrier to entry even lower than it already is and would probably entice in more due to the potential cheap nature involved. So, Nathan, I think that's kind of what I keep going back to. And I know that lots of so rare OGs think that this product could be wildly successful if it was essentially like a luxury product, if they had never done limited. And it's just, I just completely disagree with them. I don't think the economics ever work out. And no one, like, there are not enough people interested in fantasy sports to end up making enough money making it like a luxury product. I have yet to see or hear any argument that would make me think that that's a viable business in the long term. We are slowly approaching a stabilized economy with the in-season classic split and consistent reward pools. Disrupting it with a new scarcity is just not the answer. So I don't, Scosma, I don't think they're doing this like right now, but I at some point they have to do it. Like at some point, I think we all want the game to grow enough, and I don't think that the game is going to grow to the point where a backup left back for Heidenheim is what people want to buy. And a new scarcity allows them to buy something that they actually want to buy, if that makes sense. To be fair, I want a few more cards for rare Prem. It's hard to get them now. Could rare not be 200, not 100? No, it can't be. It has to be 100. I don't think they can change mint count, like scarcity counts now. But Yorkie will, that's sort of the point. Is like that was the whole point of rare for a while, that it was the most accessible, but it also wasn't easily accessible. And so as we discovered with everybody who wanted to play Phil Foden this week, if the sellers aren't there, or if the sellers are there with unreasonable, what we think is unreasonable prices, and then you just really want it, you're going to have to pay that unreasonable price. And how far can the game go by doing that? Especially since for most of those cards, if not all of them, that unreasonable price wasn't profit for so rare. Right. So then those lower end cards become even more worthless. Appreciate the creativity for topic, but I don't see any reason that will convince me a new scarcity is a good idea. Just iterate comment. So I like lower end cards should be worthless. Like I to be honest, that football.fun has made me look at the cards that I buy on So Rare way differently, and the cards that I think potential people want to buy. People really like playing fantasy sports with players they've heard of and that they know are good. And this isn't to say that like the introduction of another scarcity like kills the kind of unicorns that we find in the game, like that most people don't know. That all of us watching this and listening to this know who Joey Veerman is. Most people who are actually quite intelligent when it comes to football don't know who Joey Veerman is. And I think players like Joey Veerman will always have value on this platform. But the lower end cards being worthless, they become unworthless, worthy by having them be helpful collection pieces. And like there are tons of cards that I have bought of guys I've never heard of and I will never see play football and whose names I've already forgotten. And I buy them because it helps the cards that I do know. And so I just don't, this idea that the lower end cards become even more worthless. I'm not sure they can get much lower. I think I'll collect every single common by the end of the season. There you go. Bit late, but wow, what an interesting question. Has anyone made a proposition what the scarcity? Surely it's between rare and super rare. So I don't think, again, I think the problem that they have to solve is what happens if a lot of people really want to play this game. And adding a scarcity between 10 and 100 doesn't answer that question. Nathan said, I know I would be tempted to spend 100 euros on a near God squad for a lower to hit any streaks or rewards, etc. Yes, Cosmo, I completely admit that I think football.fun has been influencing this, but I think we all realistically want to play with those guys. For those of you who are unaware, like football.fun only has 140 players in the game from the top 5 leagues. And so The idea is you're buying shares in guys that you know. Now, that's not to say that more players aren't more popular than others. Obviously, like Yamal and Mbappe and Haaland are the most popular, but they do have others. Giovanni Di Lorenzo and Matthias Sula and um, Akliuche from Monaco. Like there are lower end players that are still like elite players. Um, and so, and I think that obviously those are the types of players that are used to sell your game. It's not Joey Veerman. Commons are the mass market product, and they aren't set up in a way that incentivizes spending, or only very little. They should be able to profit more from commons than scarce cards via scale. So I don't disagree with you about that, Behab. Like if they could figure out a way, and they did that a little bit, right, with the gems or something like that. I don't play common, and I'm not ruling out that the safer revenue stream is microtransactions with the common game, but at some point, I just don't feel like that's enough, and maybe it is, and maybe a new pro scarcity is unnecessary, but I'm not sure I see the path to that being as fruitful as a new scarcity. Or why not just do both? Yorkie said, I think the current scarcities sit too far apart. Super rare is too far from rare. That should be my natural next step, and I can't see the benefit of the progression. It's funny. I don't I don't feel that way, but I'm also not trying to buy the best players, if that makes sense. I would argue Adrian Truford has a higher profile than Joey Veerman. If this is the argument, then just scrap all other licenses off and just keep the top 4 champ leagues. Um, I agree with you about that. About the first part, that Truford has a higher profile than Joey Veerman. I don't know why that means you have to scrap the other licenses, though. He will have value until he moves to a random mid-table Prem team. No, he's going to Fenner. Veerman played in a tournament for Netherlands, dropped a stinker, lost his chance of getting a big league move. Wasn't that like the opening Euros match? He was so bad. I just remember that. Kika said, this isn't Laird, it's a clone. Just because I have a shirt on, like a real shirt? Yes, Cosmo. Locatelli, he's in the game. It's easier to buy Locatelli on football.fun than it is on Sorare. Would the adding of more licenses on top of the existing ones be a potential way of avoiding adding a new scarcity, as there are then more cards in the pool to both purchase and craft? So I don't think we want any more licenses. Like there are certain teams in the world that they don't have that everyone's like, oh, it'd be cool to have them. But I don't think anybody who's not on Sorare feels that way. Like Atletico Mineiro we had for a while, all the Russian Premier League teams. The way that they have it set up now, they're just not missing that. They're not missing any clubs that bring like a mass audience, if that makes sense. Only just arrived. Hello, Rasko Masaki. But does Sorare need a new scarcity when it neglects its current scarcity issues? What are the current scarcity issues that you are referring to? And we can discuss that. Halligan said, I think cosmetics are more likely and viable than a new scarcity. There's so much potential in customizing cards. So it's funny, Halligan, I actually don't think that there's a lot of potential in customizing cards, because anything having to do with a card requires approval from whoever you get your license from. And I just don't think that's a viable business. Like, I think it's almost too much work. Is this how we resurrect All-Star Pro via a new scarcity? No. Bring back La Liga 2, the women's game. If they sell all the cards of Zolas or anyone else, they surely did math so that they are in the green. And then they can make extra money from the secondary market. So Oros, I don't think that they make that much money from the secondary market because it was my understanding that a vast majority of that money goes to the clubs, not to like as part of their licensing agreement. It's not to Sorare's pocket. So it makes their partners happier, but it certainly doesn't make their investors happier. Anion said, I would say streaks in the current setup lead to a boring game where everyone kind of needs to do the same. What's your stance on that? Um, what do you mean by we're doing the same? Yorkie Will said a rare Haaland is 700 quid, super rare Haaland 2K, but good luck getting one. You get to rare, then just stop on so rare. So that's like the point, right? The whole so that and that's sort of my argument about the people who say you limited shouldn't exist, they should have never done limited, is just that situation right there. That there are plenty of people who want a Haaland super rare and can't get them because they're scarce. But like that's the point of scarcity. That they're worth more because there aren't that many of them. If cards sell out next season, we'll just have better rewards and cost more probably. I don't know if like why would we have better rewards? If they sell out now based on these rewards, from the business perspective, somebody in an office is saying, can we sell these cards for just as much but pay out less? They've made so much money from me because of La Liga 2, fell in love with Alaves when they were in La Liga 2. You can technically buy gems to open packs of commons, but you get a free pack a day anyway, and the prize for winning first place is one free pack. Why would anyone buy gems for things they get for free? That's fair. Halligan said, okay, hear me out. Subs would make So Rare more money by increasing demand for 70% starter players and backups. So again, and I know what you're doing there, but we have to go back to the whole thing that there are only so many cards that they can sell. Increasing demand, like that's fine. All this demand goes up and the card prices go up, but there's still a very, excuse me, finite and small number of cards that they can sell every year. Like 1,000 cards unlimited sounds like a lot, but they have sold 980 of them by December 23rd. This season ends in May 23rd or whatever the hell it is. And so what do they do to make more money from January to July in non-World Cup years? St. Domingos FC 97. Do you think the licenses are safe for the foreseeable future? I don't have any reason to think otherwise, but I have I don't know. I assume so. Well, when you need to only hit a certain point threshold and are open to no restrictions, obviously you want the best guys before you could risk players that outperform for leaderboards. So you're just saying people aren't risking as much. When in reality, they should be essentially risking one or two lineups and then playing two safer ones. With streaks, you want consistency and not a gamble. I almost feel like this gives an advantage to those who are willing to risk. Yes, risk, not gamble. Holty, what's up? Also a La Liga 2 stan. Selling out cards is different than selling out at higher cost. That's where rewards matter despite selling out. So Kika, I agree. I agree. The difficulty is that they realistically can't or shouldn't increase rewards with the hope that we pay more for the cards than we did this year. And like that just feels too risky. If anything, they should do the opposite. And I'm not telling them to do this, but I think we have to remember that their existence is to make money. And that means bringing in more money than they spend. And so if they could bring in the same amount of money but spend less, meaning reduce rewards, they would do it. Now, I think if it was obvious how much it went down, people would be like, "Oh, great. I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to pay as much for cards." But increasing the rewards with the hope that people pay more I wouldn't do that. Stop the wheel. I don't even want to read the rest of this. But anyway, Scosmo said, stop the wheel, allocate all in real life prizes to common gameplay. Everyone has access and equal opportunity to win them. Incentivize boosted gameplay with microtransactions, allowing unlimited scale. I'm not going to sit here and say that microtransactions aren't enough money because we've seen other games that make a ton of money with with their microtransactions. But realistically, like the IRL prizes they have are worthless to me. I don't need tickets to Everton, Nottingham Forest. Shout out to Pico Player who won those tickets and gave them away. But the and a so rare winter jacket. I have a winter. I'm not going to wear a so rare winter jacket. So you're reducing the number. Like I'm not going to buy microtransactions to win MLS tickets or spend on microtransactions. But maybe I'm just in the minority there. Yorkie Will said, okay, so my main point is I do well in Prem. I can't really progress in that area. So my plan next year is to spend less and streamline, but win the same. So rare make less money. Why do you think you will have as much success next year by spending less money? But also just go play La Liga, man. Come on. Ricomon said, just got common Mbappe. Let's go. What are the chances of getting a Serie A license? I think they're very small. I don't want my winter jacket to have WNTR in big letters on the back. Right. Good luck by spending the same winning the same by spending less. Winning D1 rare prem is 4,000. Super rare is 5K with no streaks. Why do I play super rare? Also no streaks. Sorry. Oh, okay. So the reason that you play super rare is because you have to beat significantly fewer people. That's why you play. Like in order to you have to be in D1 in Prem. Let's see how many. I don't even know what the numbers are. Well, wait this way. Because I wasted money and FOMO'd a lot into pointless collections like leads. Alex, what's up? I've never cared about physical items ever. Just give me cards and money. That sounds very dramatic, but I think he just means in so rare. Let's see. Prem. Not D1 rare, you don't. I have 4 teams there now. Let's see. So Prem D1 rare had 421 people. And Prem super rare had 299. And because there are fewer lineups, your scores don't need to be as high. Now it is certainly harder to get the cards, but I'm just not sure why. Like the Scosmo said, I missed divisions in Super Rare. Do you really mean that, Scosmo? I've literally never heard anybody say that. That's shocking to read. Behab said the addition of a fully mixed scarcity comp where there is an incentive to move up scarcities, boosted rewards or score would open a lot of doors. I don't disagree with that. I think I don't know how I feel about this boosted score versus boosted rewards. I've been in so rare long enough where the like when we had the super rare scarcity bonus in Rare Pro and Rare Plus, which one I can't remember what it was originally called. Pro, right? And then it changed to Plus, but whatever it is. I think the score bonus, excuse me, I think the reward bonus makes more sense. Like when I'm doing this in season Liga and Super Rare, and I look at my unique, and I was like, oh wait, it doesn't get like a score bonus; it just gets a point or a reward bonus. Obviously, if I don't win anything, it doesn't boost anything. But I do think that that's missing. But I think that the reward bonus would make sense. Like I would consider playing in-season super rares in rare or rare in-season rares in limited as a boost. But again, so let's say you do that. Let's say that for and I don't think that the the bonus can be as high as it is in unique. But like if you did play all in-season rares in limited competitions and you got a 100% bonus or whatever the numbers come out to be, that obviously makes rare even more scarce because there are now many more people who want to buy those rares. And so you get into this situation now where Yorkie Will is looking for a Foden in December, and there are really none of them. So what do we do? What does Sorare do to make more money now that they have all these people who want one of their 100 cards? ZVT, considering how many disgusting decisions to screw over users they have made, I would not be surprised if they added a scarcity. And you are doing this to prepare the audience. Ooh, I like that conspiracy. I love that. Like Nico called me today and he was like, hey, we got to start talking about this. I think what so I got to break on that for a second because I do want to talk about that. So I worked in finance for like 10 years out of college. I got my master's degree in sports business, and I've worked in sports companies for the last 15, 20 years. 15 years. I'm not that old. 10 years. 15 years. I spend more time thinking about Sorare or MFL or football.fun businesses than I do playing the game. And it's not me sitting here as a user thinking, is this going to still exist for a while? Should I put money in these platforms because they might not exist? But I have a genuine interest in how businesses run and what makes them run. So these like disgusting decisions that Sorare made, meaning those are ZVT's words, were because they were not going to survive. The point of a business is to make money, and if you spend more money than you make, your business doesn't exist anymore. And so I spend a lot of time wondering how companies make money and what they can do in order to make more money. I have not talked to anybody else. I have not talked to anybody at Sorare about this. I want to believe that the business is run well enough that they have people who talk about this all the time, because every business should have somebody like that. If the point of your business is to make money, regardless of how they make money, the point of the business is to make money. And so you need to think about how much can I make as easily as possible with as few costs as possible. So this thought of like, I'm preparing the audience. This isn't the first time we've ever talked about a new scarcity. And I explained at the beginning why I thought about it today. But genuinely, like those are the things I think about. Of, oh, there's another market credit, so they must be, people buy cards with market credits that they normally wouldn't have bought. So that's a way that Sorare is making more money. Do they get full value, full price essentially? No, because they are basically funding it with market credits. But every decision they make, I don't look at it as, is this good for the user? Is it good for Sorare? It's, why did they make that decision? And obviously, if every decision was so negative to every user, they wouldn't have any users. So obviously, the changes that they made, there are enough people who think it was positive, or at least positive enough to keep playing. And I think it's important to talk about that stuff. That's why I do that. That's why I think about it and why I talk about it on this channel. So I'm not here like preparing anybody for this. Or if I am, it's not because they told me, hey, we're going to come out with a new scarcity soon. But when we get to the point where it's December 23rd and they've sold 90% of some players' cards and we have 5 months left, we should be thinking about this. Anyway. Less of a complete screw over would be to buy Essence Energy and allow to energize classic cards to play in season. I've never deeply thought about that possibility, buying energy basically. Um, so I don't know. I think if they bought the unique bonus down to rare and limited, it would help people move up. If they, you think people would buy uniques to get a bonus in rare and limited? Halligan said, next season, I'm only buying the 16 cards I'm playing game week one in each competition I enter. Wasted so much money on collections and risky players. So you don't give any thought that the collection pieces that you bought helped your line, your like reward winning. Um, Scosmo said, I've been ignoring the jump in users between scarcity. As a pool, it's drastic. Division one versus super rare is it's not big enough jump at all. I'd rather play rare divisions than super rare. But you don't, Scosmo. You you don't play rare. And you also need to get your teams into division one. Like there's a lot of that. If they manage to make us buy worthless cards, they'll get more profit. I think they did pretty well with this winter stuff, and maybe they should increase how much money you get, or how much percentage, excuse me, you get from a collection bonus. I mean, they've already managed to make us buy worthless cards. I spent 600 quid on two McNeils preseason. Oh, the Dwight McNeil fall. Oh, wait, there was more to that. Sorry. Maybe they should increase how much percent you get from a collection bonus and make it harder to hit those bonuses. Basically, make you buy the whole squad if you want the max. I like to this day, I don't understand why there isn't an additional bonus for completing a collection. Holty said, I missed the start. What's the issue with selling out of cards? So Holty, the issue is that they can't make any more money once they sell those cards. Could new game modes be the answer instead of a new scarcity? Give those worse cards different utility in a similar way Quick Play did. Maybe. Maybe. And if those game modes are really successful, and more people come, at some point we're still going to need more cards. Will said, can I just say, all aside, I'm loving the game more than ever, and I think it's in a great place. That is why I worry about changes from a rare perspective. Jay Holty just wants shitler arenas. I mean, there's a ton of like gameplay stuff that they could do, and the way that the I'm not sure how much they want to do that. And it feels like that recent So Rare Solana thing where they're like, "Hey, build games for us." Like I just don't know how much they want to invest in creating new game modes if they can outsource that and focus fully on selling cards that can be used in all of these different games. And again, if one gets really popular, what do you do when you can't get a rare Foden? Do we have numbers how much they earn this year compared to last? I don't, Anyan. And I don't think anybody does because of market credits. I don't think we have any idea what the actual money spent was. Um, if they add limited essence to common leaderboards, I think I would actually spend money on common gems. But again, limited essence means more people are crafting limited cards, which means we run out. They had to go with gambling, but no one wanted to buy or invest in them. They had to go with viewing games and platform, but they couldn't afford that. They had to keep crypto NFT trend, but they failed and moved away from that. After gambling giants didn't want to invest in them, they tried this recent come and build for us thing to gamble outside platform, but that's very hard to pull off. I think you're right. All of this is very hard to pull off. The only way playing super rare makes sense is if you're using uniques for the reward multiple. Without them, you're better off playing rare. Rethinking my gallery now. But does selling 90% of cards now means they have more time to focus on the other recently started or upcoming game modes, i.e., NBA currently and MLB, MLS upcoming? No, that doesn't mean anything to me. They should they should have and they do have like a marketplace group, but that marketplace group should be working all the time to um to figure out how to sell stuff. And this whole like, oh, we sold everything, we're good for the next 5 months, like that shouldn't exist. Claudio Echeverri to Girona, loan deal agreed for the former River Plate youngster. Josh Tiley, what's up? Good to see you. Didn't we all piss money away on Dwight McNeil? What's funny, Alex, is that I pissed money away on like a James Garner because of Dwight McNeil. Not an in season though. I'd say go back to adding leagues and clubs before scarcities. But like what honestly, like what leagues or teams could they add that we all want to buy those cards from to make up for this like this end of or this lack of cards being available in the teams we do want? Before you say like the whole championship, like most people outside of that, this is going to be, yeah, whatever. Most people outside of England don't care about the championship. So adding all the championship clubs doesn't move the needle for me. They'll start selling XP soon, easy revenue. Holty said selling out of cards is better than not, though, right? Doesn't matter when they sell out. Maybe next year they up the buy it now price every time it sells. So they do that now. They increase the buy now price. So it's Holty that again, I'm not saying this is something that they need to do right now. But if they start selling out of cards in December, why not add a scarcity that allows you to sell more cards throughout the year? Like selling out of cards is the goal, but the problem is that there's a relatively small finite number of cards that they can sell. So if you're running that business, what do you do? What they're doing now does work, at least on me. I bought 2 AFCON keepers today, including a Kofi on instant buy with market credits. JPS said, my partner's family has asked us all to pick one thing we want to watch over Christmas. I'm picking So Rare with Laird. What's the schedule looking like? Unfortunately, not much. So today is December 23rd. I am planning on not streaming for the rest of the week. So that's tomorrow is Christmas Eve, Thursday is Christmas Day, and I will not be streaming on Boxing Day. I will be back next Monday for So Rare Spotlight, and I am planning on streaming Tuesday of next week and maybe New Year's Eve, but I'm not sure. My guess is I don't, because unless I do it early enough, because I feel like you guys will be out, gallivanting for your New Year's celebrations, most of you Europeans. And I think most people don't work. Oh, maybe they do work like a half day. I don't know. But today is the last stream of the week, this week, and then there will be maybe 2 next week. I may have other videos posting, but in terms of live streams, this is the last one of this week. I think they overdid it with market credits, especially at the start of the game. Overdid it in what respect? Misaki said, hot take, Essence crafting is a terrible experience. Give me card rewards back on the leaderboards. Ooh, could not disagree more. Genuinely. The potential, the 0.1% potential of getting a star instead of a guaranteed tier 5 that you will never be able to sell. Give that to me all day. Let's craft right now. Why not? Standard room, number 1. Max Hennig, 18-year-old. Did we miss anyone good? Oh, Verdonk, he's only 1 star. Andy Robertson, only 3. I I don't really want this card. Does anyone want this card? If there's anyone in the chat that wants this card, I will get it for you and send it to you. And these are the cards that would end up. Oh, it is a rookie card. I didn't even notice that. Maybe I should keep it. It actually looks like. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look at this kid. Does he play with? He does with what's his name? Wilfinger. Okay. By the way, I didn't even realize that I did get the best card here. All right, let's claim this. Hold on. Doesn't he play with? I would rather that. Oh, that's not going to come up. Let's see. It was Hartberg. It is Wilfinger. I'll be getting a little Hartberg defensive stack when they come back in 10 years from their break. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, good spot. Anyway, where was I? Don't they still have that legal case in the UK? Haven't heard anything otherwise. What's it supposed to be? The June? Fun fact: I don't live in the UK. Maybe paying to keep your level of your streak. This is just throwing random thoughts. So, Oros, I believe that they should have meetings every week with just that. What are some ideas that we have to make? Sell essence, sell XP, sell keeping your streak. And some of these have like legal issues, which is why they can't do it. Um, but they should be thinking about this all the time. Sorare also is working exactly the way we all love. As today, I've watched Senegal versus Botswana and currently have Nigeria versus Tanzania on in the background. Love that. That's the second screen. Love that. Way to be. Give me Budo, Glint, and Viking. So I don't disagree, but also it's just not going to move the needle. Most people don't care about the teams outside of the big four. Look at us calling it the big four now. If MLS was a big league, they would have no issues between January and June, except MLS is now moving to the summer calendar. Not now, but the following season. They make more money by individualizing every league into the single comps. Probably. Yeah, Alex, you're right. We do need Copenhagen. Takoa, at which level would you add the scarcity below limited? Yeah, I think it would be below limited. What about a limited scarcity? They sell 500 cards and you can use one in rare and two or three in limited comps. I don't think again, I don't think that's enough. Adding like a scarcity in the middle of it's just not enough. Those will sell out. If we're selling out 1,000 limiteds, surely we sell out 500 limiteds. Or 500, is that what I said? Domingo's my first stream. Oh, let's go. Please make sure you like it. Or hit the like button. I will be watching my other half playing with her new combi drill instead. I hope she's not watching. I just ruined the present. Yeah, they failed a bit with the wheel early. Made around 500 from crafts and had 500 in credits, all for free, just bidding on cards as soon as they came on. How do we know that it was a fail? Just because you were successful doesn't mean everybody else was. I'm on the cusp of a tier 2 card or 1,000 all-star essence in the all-star comp. I'm rooting for those below me to pass me. Holty, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Hope you have a great one. Thank you for all of your support, genuinely. Turkey Will said crafting is one of the best things they've ever done. I look at my Twitter analytics and all the top 10 are crafting posts. Surely. What do you think the big wheel update will be tomorrow? I think it's just the wheel with Santa on it and no misses. Meaning no miss MISS on the wheel, not Mrs. Claus. Austrian winter cards feel so pointless. Yeah, agreed. If we didn't have market credits at all, there would probably be more cards now and they would have made more the same amount of money. No, oh, that I totally disagree with. I think there's no way they would have made as much money. There would be more cards now and they would have made more the same amount. Yeah, I don't think so. I think a lot of us bought a lot of cards that we would have never bought. I know that I did that. Like if you have the choice between spending $5 or not, or if you have the choice between getting something at half off versus not buying it, but the spending the half off allows you to get something, like you're going to do it. I love when Laird reads a Mike comment, pauses, and then decides whether he should read it out loud or not. I hope I accidentally get a unique on the new wheel. Help me move up. There you go. Yeah, just play common and get your uniques that way. Sorry for that joke, Behab. I know you're still. I would still be upset about it. Also, people buying with market credits kind of fake the last sale price so they earn more by it when someone without credits wants the card as well. Good point. Yeah, I don't think that there's any way they sell as many cards without market credits. No chance. Anyway, that was how I was thinking about the new scarcity. Again, I don't know what the next few months on So Rare is going to be super interesting because it could be really boring. And the reason I say that is because they can't add too much that requires us to buy a ton of cards because the they're running out. And so and I think that's why they don't do a lot of these promos with super rares because and uniques because it's like you can't have they don't have that many super rares to sell. And so I guess I guess quick play is the solution genuinely of just like the ability to use lower end cards for winning something. And I think they said, I think I saw a tweet before that like three people were going for the top mark in quick play for this week. Let me see. I think that's what they said. Let's find it. I thought they put it on Twitter. Come on, there we go. Yeah, here we go. Oh, Ashko is one of the three still standing. I'm on level 2, meaning I have only done level 1. I feel like they would say 3 players here, but whatever. And so let's see what cards that he bought for this. Is that a Marmouche? Salah Marmouche Pavlidis. Winter edition cards. Like, do these cards get sold without quick play? Probably not. And I don't know if Ashoka has other like limited cards. I guess we could look. Like, do they play? Oh, they do. All right. But they obviously got these cards. That's what I wanted to see. Do they? Oh wait, hold on. Do they have like? Did they buy these cards having already bought them? Meaning, did they already have a Salah? No, no Salah. Marmouche really hasn't been playing that much this year. So there you go. Yeah, 6 days ago. Where is Pavlidis? Did that already hit? Oh, that was his choice for number 4. And so that's somebody who's buying cards because of this new play. But at some point, what happens when they're gone? So, Mike, I think your boring or stable is there. It's both. What happens if Sorare just gets boring? It's not just me that never sells their cards, right? I don't sell a lot of cards, Yorkie. I mean, genuinely, literally the only cards I sell are crafts, if I can sell them. You sell cards? I thought you could only buy them. I got one more of the 3 rewarded, still missing Georgie. Oh man, they'll hold out. Don't worry, it'll be yours one day. But I think that the um, I think that the new scarcity conversation is really just built around how does Sorare continue to make money, because you don't want to be a business that makes money 5 to 6 months out of the year and then just like waits. And you can make the argument that MLB, but like the MLB market is not comparable to the football one. And so the it's either microtransactions for the common game, which I don't think are bad. And it's actually, I was going to say it's either that or new scarcity, but they could do both easily. Tourism works like that as well, and it works fine though. So I sure, but if your business ran on tourism and you had the ability to make your destination more attractive for 12 months of the year, wouldn't you do it? Like tourism works that way, but I'm sure every single person in the tourism industry wishes that they could be just as attractive for visitors 365 days a year. Like, yeah, I think there's a very big difference between like making a lot of money in one part of the year and less in another versus making a lot of money in one part of the year and then not being able to make money the rest of it. Like once Sorare gets to 1,000 whatever cards of whatever player, like they cannot sell another one. Off season, most years you do have an international tourney with as previously discussed tourney only usable players. Wait, off season, most years you do have an international tourney with as previously discussed tourney only usable players. Spain would disagree with you, re-tourism, meaning they are available all year. Yorkie, you mean like if they had World Cup cards? I don't know. Renting cards like for 7 days, one amount, 14 another. Didn't they do that? Didn't they try that? Wasn't that a thing for a bit? Couldn't you loan cards from them? No, they don't want people all year. Oh, okay. So I disagree, Mike. I think everybody in Spanish tourism wants people ever there, but the people who live there don't. Um, yeah, I think. But again, so Yorkie Will, this is kind of like, are they going to sell World Cup cards every 4 years and Euros cards every 2 years? Like they're not going to make enough money. Think about how much money you can make from minting 10,000 more Mbappes every year versus um, a, a gold cup or what's the South American one? Why am I blanking? Copa something or uh, what's like the South American Euros equivalent? Anyone, please. It's a start. I mean, is it? So I think the biggest thing that the biggest risk of a new scarcity is convincing people that the other scarcities are still scarce. And I know that sounds Copa America. Thank you, Ricomon and JPS. So if you have 1,111 Mbappes every year, 1,000 limited, 100 rare, 10 super rares, one unique. And all of a sudden, there are 10,000 more. even though there are different scarcity and all that stuff, if you hold one of those cards, it's really now I own like there are only 1,000, 1,111 every year of Mbappe, and that feels scarce. But when there are 11,111, each individual one doesn't feel as special. And I think that's tricky. That's the trickiest part, is convincing everyone that this new scarcity, whatever it's called, doesn't actually from a and I don't I'm not getting into like a collectability conversation right now. But realistically, like yes, you can have the one of one or the one of 10 or the one of 100. But if there are like in reality 11,000 of them, they don't feel as collectible. And you could make the argument like if everybody who said if there are enough people who right now say so rare cards are not collectible, so adding 10,000 doesn't matter. I think they would feel differently if they had one of these 1,111 cards and all of a sudden there were 11,000 of them. The tournament cards would be actual collectibles though, like the Panini sticker books. So are Panini sticker books actually collectible or are they just like things to do? Like people keep them. Like is anybody buying a completed Panini sticker book? Can they do same arena concept but with cash or will it cause the new legal problems? I think there are significant legal hurdles, regulatory hurdles with that. I'm sure if they could, they would, but that's why I think they want somebody to build it on Solana so that they don't have to do it. So we'll see. I don't know. But that's what I was thinking about today. And this channel is pretty much just what I'm thinking about. And so I wanted you guys to think about that as well, because we want to be in a situation where at some point there are so many people here that realistically a $1,000 Mbappe or a $5,000 Mbappe limited is not, there are just not enough people who are going to be willing to pay that. And we'll see. Limited didn't solve the rare problem. They just kicked the can down the road. A scarcity below limited just does the same thing. If not commons, temporary cards is better fix for your money. So Behab, I don't think that there's a way to solve the problem. The only way is to just continuously kick the can, which I think is a solution. It doesn't fix this. I don't think it's a rare problem. It almost accentuates the rareness of the cards. As someone that found 2 massive boxes of 2010 World Cup match attacks that are worth nothing, I don't think collectibles really matter. Disagree. Commons. You think commons are the solution or what's the negative to just, I don't even think it's kicking the can because I don't think that they're ever actually solving the problem. We need to start looking at this more like FIFA FC where it's early restart, which is funny since we long made fun of those people. I don't think that the scarcity problem needs fixing. It's a feature, not a bug. Which is why you just add scarcities below. So more people can play and the higher up ones can get more exclusive. Imagine how attractive it will be to play against 290 people in super rare versus 290,000 people in uncommon. Then we'll all buy super rares. I don't think of my so rare cards as collectibles. They are all there to serve a purpose in the game for me to win more. I think most people feel that way. Absolutely. Which is why I don't think adding a scarcity and being like, oh, you're one of 1,111 is bad now because it's one of 11,000. I don't think people care. As someone that looks at scarcity separately, I don't think adding a lower scarcity will really affect limited or rare. I think it will affect it for sure. It just might take some time. And again, I don't think that they're adding a scarcity anytime soon. Problem, cards become too unattainable, meaning too costly for people to build a team, which caps your user base. You need a solution that allows unlimited users while maintaining benefit to holding scarce cards. So, so Behab, that's exactly what I was always saying of if we had never introduced limited, the cards become unattainable for most people and you can't keep going. But I don't understand why adding more scarcities doesn't alleviate the concern, because you want your top cards to be expensively unattainable for a lot of people. That was the whole point. Limited pretty cheap to get involved in. It is, but it's not cheap to win in limited. We saw this season where people were paying more for limited than rare. It shows how people don't look at other scarcities. So I think that's a little different. Like a lot of the situations, Ricomon, that you're referencing is like they went a lot of the limiteds from like quick play went above rare, and I think a lot of that was just because they had more utility. Like when they offer things just for limiteds, that's like more utility than they do for rares. It does seem weird though. You're not wrong. But again, if you had like a collection of a certain team and all of a sudden the limited is for the player that you want is more than the rare, buying the rare doesn't help your collection. So they don't get the, if you had 3%, 4%, whatever it is, like the rare doesn't get the scarcity, the collection bonus. It's if you only play limited, you're not going to win rare XP to get that card up. So there are a lot of reasons why you would buy the limited over the rare. And why when you play rare, it feels very different than playing limited because there are a lot fewer people. And obviously the jump from or the number of people, the difference in the number of people from like rare division 1, which you have to earn to get in there, rare division 1 versus super rares doesn't seem that great anymore. I was thinking of the start of the season where we saw that happening. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play limited, like you're not going to look at rare prices because again, it doesn't make sense. Why buy the limited? Why buy the rare when again, and a lot of people are buying limiteds at the beginning of the season with collections in mind. Buying higher scarcity cards doesn't help your collections in the lower scarcities. I would love if they did, but they just don't. So anyway, that's some food for thought. I'd love everybody to keep thinking about this. Not just that, and not to say that you need to think of these things like I do, but these are problems that I know Behab does, and Behab's got a great medium that everybody should read because Behab has a really good perspective of Sorare as a business as well, and so highly recommend checking that out. But I think there just needs to be more thought of why Sorare does things, and it's not the lens of just to screw us, because screwing your users obviously doesn't keep your users happy. And if you don't have happy users, they're not going to spend any money on your platform. So anyway, food for thought over the Christmas break. Like I said, today's going to be the last stream of this week. I'll be back on Monday for Sorare Spotlight over on Sorare's channel. I plan on being here a week from today, December 30th, hopefully with Harry. He was a little under the weather today, which is why you were stuck with just me. And then we'll see about a New Year's Eve. I'm not going to do a New Year's Eve party stream, but we'll see about some sort of stream or video then. So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you for all of the support for the channel and for all of my content this year. It means the world to me. And particularly those who show up here and are able to show up in the live chat and participate, because obviously it helps keep the conversation going, provides wonderful perspectives that sometimes I haven't thought of. Some of you, I think you are morons, but I love you anyway. And so thank you for participating. Happy Christmas to all who celebrate. Have a great time off, or I recommend time off. If you like your family, I hope you can spend tons of time with them. And if you don't forget to go outside.